Hey there, stampers and crafters. I am Tami from stampwithtami.com, and this video is actually part 2 of a 2-part series. Part 1, we created this really cool Pilgrim Thanksgiving card. So you're going to want to click over to that video after this one and check it out. You're also going to want to go to my blog, because these 2 videos are part of a blog hop that I am doing with my Demonstrator group for Thanksgiving, and their projects are awesome. The links to the blog hop are on my blog at this URL. You can always click right on the video too if you want to get to this projects page, and the blog hop is on this projects page. So part 2 is for the French fry box. Super stinking cute. We'll be using some of the same techniques we did in the card, but I'm going to share some different techniques on this, including what I'm going to call a magic trick with the square scallop die on the Big Shot. Super cool stuff. Alright, you want to see this? Let's get started. So I just filmed an entire video on how to make this super cute Pilgrim box for part 2 and didn't have the camera on. Love that. Not really. Anyways, so this is going to be an even better edition of part 2 of the 2-part series. We are making the French fry Pilgrim box in this edition, and part 1 was the card. And don't miss part 1 because there's some cool different tricks and techniques that I used on that card. So we meet again. Okay, you're gonna love how easy this is. This is the French fry box die from Stampin Up. So we'll be putting that right on the Big Shot, one cutting pad underneath. We're gonna cut 2 of these, one in soft suede and one in vanilla. So 1 piece of cardstock at a time for this, because it has scoring lines on it. And 2 pieces just don't work when you're scoring and cutting at the same time. Cutting pad on top, crank it through. And then repeat with vanilla. And the end result is 2 boxes, and as I mentioned, the scoring lines are already there for us. On the brown one, you can go ahead and fold on the scoring lines. And this is how it goes together. On the vanilla one, you can go ahead and fold these edges if you want to. No need to do the center because we're cutting that off. We're actually going to fold this, but we want these 2 bottom edges, these 2 edges to line up. So it's not necessarily in half. And then I'm going to measure 1 inch down from the 2 top corners and put just a little tick mark. Just zoom in a second just so you can see it. Just a tiny little tick mark on there just to line up the next die that we're going to use. If you have a magnetic platform, I recommend using that. If you need any of the supplies that I'm using today, if you would like to recreate these or do something similar to it, you can get all of these supplies on my stampwithtami.com blog in the online store simply by going to this URL or clicking in the link in the YouTube description below. If you're on YouTube, you can click right on this video. I'll also have all the measurements there. Same exact scallop square die from the Square Dies framelit collection that we used on the card. But there is a trick to this. You want to line the bottom edge up with those 2 tick marks. This top edge of the box should be inside the frame. Okay, the frame shouldn't be going this way or your scallops are going to be the wrong way. Now if you have a magnetic die, it'll probably suck this down as you line it up and everything will be happy. But because I didn't have one handy and I'm using the multi-purpose cutting platform, I'm going to show you a trick to keep it lined up. I'm using a Post-it note. I'm actually going to use 2 because these are little. They're just going to hold it down where I want it so it doesn't move around. Now, this is where the magic happens, and it's a very important step, and I'll show you why in a second. This top cutting pad only covers this bottom edge. This bottom edge, see it right here? It can only cover that bottom edge. You don't want it to cover the whole thing, or it will cut the whole thing, and it's important that it only cuts the bottom edge, and I'll show you why in a second. So I'm just going to push that through, holding it to make sure that it only cuts the bottom edge. Okay, so then we'll just peel these little Post-it notes off. Occasionally, if you have a little string still connected there, just snip it. We're only going to be using these 2 top pieces of the box. This bottom section of the box you can either throw away or save for scraps or use for another project. We don't need this. And these 2 pieces are going to go over the top and the bottom of our box like this. And they'll line up really well too because we measured. Before I move on, this is my prototype from when I was originally designing this box. I did not do that trick of only putting the top cutting pad over the top edge. I cut the whole thing, and this is what happened. It cut off part of our vanilla piece so that you get some of the soft suede peeking through. So that's why that trick is really important. Super easy, just important. I'm using the snail adhesive to attach this just for speed of the video. But I might recommend that you use Fast Fuse or the tear and stick tape that Stampin' Up sells that's a little bit stronger. And you know what, before I attach this front piece, I do want to sponge so it matches the card. You don't need to do this top edge because it's going to be covered, but the bottom part there just gives it a little pop. Okay, now I'm sticking this on. Now I'm swapping this nail out for sure for the Fast Fuse for the edges. You want to bring in the big guns to put the box together with. Just make sure you do a little check at the bottom to break off the adhesive. Put some on either side. This is actually the only adhesive you need to put this box together. It's a pretty cool and easy box to make. And that's it for assembling our box. Super quick and easy. Okay, next for our belt, you can see the card video for how to break down the fibers of the cardstock for the belt and make the faux suede belt. Super cool. And then I just used snail to attach the belt. I just kind of lined it up around the box. And mine's just a little long, so I'm just going to trim off the extra, and I'll actually use this extra piece in the buckle. The buckle I am sponging with some crushed curry. Little tone-on-tone crushed curry ink and paper. And we'll stick that down with some snail adhesive. I trimmed that little excess piece of the belt with some scissors. You probably want the paper cutter to make it straight, but it's stinking cute either way. We are using the same espresso cotton ribbon that we used on the card, and we're going to do the little tie the same exact way with the mini glue dots or snail adhesive. Either one just sticks right in the center, and then it just folds into itself. Same way we did the breast cancer ribbon on the booby box last week. I'm going to trim that up, and then one more glue dot sticks that right to the center of the box. And I had a little bit of a problem with these candy corns. I keep eating them. I purposely bought the smallest bag I could get just because I had a feeling that would happen. These baggies are the medium cello bags. Stampin' Up sells them in my online store. Just tied some of that ribbon on top and it just pops right in your box. And they make great little gifts and table decorations. Awesome. Again, you do not want to miss part 1 of this 2-part series and learn how to make the card. And you want to go to my stampwithtami.com blog at this URL because I will have the entire blog hop there from my Stamp It Demonstrator group, and their projects are phenomenal. They are such a talented group of girls. I get so excited when we do these blog hops because I love seeing their stuff. Great inspiration. So, pop on over to my blog. We'll see you over there. Thanks for joining me today.